what exactly is this organization that owns the center? What is the Ralph Smead?
The Ralph Smead Foundation is an organization that was established by Ralph Smead. He passed away about 2.5 years ago, and he spent most of his adult life trying to promote the concept of freedom and liberty, individual responsibility, limited government, private property, and he set up this foundation and put all of his assets into this foundation and mandated the board of directors to continue his work for as long as the money would last.
Okay. And tell me a little bit just, I guess, about, so you guys own the Billboard, right?
Pardon?
The organization owns the Billboard?
We do.
Okay. Tell me a little bit, just obviously it rotates, but the one with Obama and the Aurora shooter has gotten some international attention. What I guess has been the feedback to your organization?
We've had positive and negative. Probably more negative than positive, but we have had a lot of positive feedback.
Okay. And what kind are they saying as far as the positive feedback?
They say that what you were saying is the truth, and they applaud us for our courage of saying it, and keep up the good work. That's generally the content of those positive feedbacks.
Okay. Do you or the organization, I guess, have any political affiliation at all?
No.
No? Not Libertarian or Republican or Democrat, just...
It's 12 people on the board of directors, and they are all freedom-oriented people, but they vary in their intensity, so to speak. Some of them are purebred libertarians. Some of them are just conservative Republicans.
I see. And have you guys gotten any threats or anything as far as those responses?
Yes.
What has that kind of been like to receive threats to your organization? Now, have they been death threats or just?
Well, kind of in a way, indirect death threats and a lot of really bitter words that I can't repeat here for you, directed at me primarily and what we're doing here.
I see. And tell me, what do you hope to achieve by showing the president next to the Aurora shooter and kind of making the point about the war and the shooting?
Well, first of all, I think there's some misunderstanding relative to our billboard. Mm-hmm. We are in total sympathy with the victims of that massacre in Aurora, Colorado. We feel sorry for the families that were affected by that, and we hope that there's swift and sure justice towards that lunatic that committed that crime. And we sympathize for all of those folks. And we are in agreement with the nation as a whole in the outrage that is felt over that action. What we are puzzled by is the lack of some sort of commensurate equal outrage over the loss of life that's occurring in the Mideast. I mean, we're losing thousands of soldiers over there, and we're killing hundreds of thousands of innocent civilians, and the outrage over that seems to be very muted. I mean, that is really low on the horizon as far as the media is concerned, and as far as just the general discussion of people. They just don't talk about it anymore. You know, it just seems to be that it's a way of life that we are engaging in war all over the world, but in particular, in this case, in the Mideast.
I see.
We don't like that.
I guess, what issue do you have with the war in the Middle East?
I think, first of all, it's illegal. It's unconstitutional, and so what else is new? We're doing all kinds of things that are unconstitutional nowadays. We've been engaging in illegal wars for the last 75 years, beginning with Korea, Vietnam, Grenada, Panama, Kosovo, Haiti, Libya, Iraq, Afghanistan. I mean, The list goes on and on and on. Those are all, as far as I'm concerned, illegal wars. And the Congress is allowing the presidents, not just Obama, but many presidents in the past, even including Reagan, to engage in those kind of things. And we think that that's wrong. It should be stopped. And we're trying to bring some awareness to the general public of what we're doing. You know, we're engaging in that war over there in the Mideast, and I think personally that we are creating vast problems for our country for the future, because all we're doing is inciting people over there to hatred against our country for what we're doing to their countries.
You had mentioned illegal wars, and you had mentioned other presidents. I guess, why not put George W. Bush or Clinton, or even, as you said, Reagan? Why not put them on this sign?
Actually, that's coming.
That is?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about that point.
Well, I think we probably better modify the rhetoric on that sign, but we're going to try to explain that previous presidents have been guilty of this also.
I see.
And not just Obama, but the point is that they're not president now. They're not commander-in-chief. They're not in control. Obama is in control. He campaigned to bring the troops home. It's almost 4 years later, and they're not home, and there's no projection that they're going to be brought home, and we think that that is terrible. And
what do you think about the efforts, though, that even though there are still some troops in Iraq, very few, what do you think about the efforts of bringing the majority of troops home from Iraq and the current scale down in Afghanistan, though?
So I think we ought to bring home all of the troops in Iraq and Afghanistan. You know, they say, oh, you can't do that. Well, you can too. You know, the Russians did. The Russians finally, in Afghanistan, they finally decided, by golly, this is not working. And they just pulled out. I think that's what we ought to do.
I see. So you don't like the slow drawdown that's been going on?
That's just a slow agony.
I see. And tell me a little bit. I know you said that you felt for the victims, but some people, it has upset them seeing this.
I understand. We did not want to do that.
Okay. Do you think that there's a difference, though, when you talk about troops? Because troops, I guess, volunteer, knowing that there's a possibility they could be killed, and they do volunteer for the Army, and the people who went to the theater were just going to see a movie and were victims of a crime. Sure,
there's a big difference. But the troops volunteered to try to defend our country and to maintain freedom. I don't think that has anything to do with what we're doing in Afghanistan. Nothing.
But do you think that there's, I guess, a difference in comparing victims from Aurora to troops who volunteered?
Dead bodies are the same, either way.
I see. And tell me a little bit, just you talked about modifying it and showing other presidents and talking about that. Are there any plans to take the current stuff there down, or to add to it, or what's kind of your plan?
Oh, we recycle those messages about every week, sometimes every 2 weeks, and the guy that controls that right now is he's out of state, and so we're kind of stranded as far as being able to access the sign. But when he gets back in, we'll be doing some new things on the sign.
I see. And since it is an election year, Mitt Romney's running as well. He hasn't necessarily talked about bringing the troops home quickly, as you had said. If he wins, would you put him on there as well, or?
If he keeps us in Afghanistan, we'll criticize him just as vociferously as we are Obama.
I see.
Absolutely.
And I guess, what do you hope happens from here, as far as, you know, the message that you've gotten out so far?
Well, I hope that we can bring some awareness to the people that what we're doing in the Mideast is bad. First of all, it's illegal, and it's bad. It's a crime against humanity, really. Crime against our soldiers. It's a crime against those innocent civilians over there. And I would like to have the people increase their opposition to what we're doing over there and get the government out of that.